Hey y'all, Mike with Cardboard Kingdom. Welcome back to another Disney Lorcana video. Today we're going to be discussing some recent additions to the collection, showing off some singles, showing off some sealed, and then we are also going to show off some non-Lorcana related stuff that we've kind of began a little collection of, which has been a lot of fun. So with that being said, let's get into it. All right, guys, we're going to start off today's collection video with some singles that we picked up here recently. We'll start with kind of the higher value stuff first, and then we'll get into some promos and more of the like bulkier stuff that we have multiples on. Picked up this Hercules on auction. I sniped it with Gixxon. It was super cheap. It was a PSA 7 or 8. Got it for under $40 all in, shipped to the door, cracked it out. Now, if I ever play Hercules, I will gladly put this bad boy in the deck. These are ones like, so once again, like if you guys have been around and you're watching this video, you know that I value these cards a lot more than the market does. And so the fact that like, if you opened an entire case of the Floodborn, you would be lucky if you pulled this card and I can get it for less than $40. Like, just does not make sense to me at all, even though it's a set card, right? Like, give me that all day. I think the art is gorgeous. I just, 10 out of 10. Love sniping. I love sniping auctions that end at a bad time. In addition, if you can give me a PSA 7, 8, or 9 for less than what a near mint copy would cost, sign me up. Once again, at that price point, like it, love it, gotta have some more of it. Picked up a Scrooge McDuck. I had 3 of these. I really like to have a playset of any of the promos, so grabbed my 4th one there. We have the Kronks from the buy a box. I was only given one, even though I opened. I got a lot of boxes, but I only was able to get one promo. I then traded my friend for his promo, and then obviously I've talked about it multiple times now, but this is the one that went in my son's mouth. So I don't know, I like it. It's just kind of like some added some added grit, just some more memories kind of encased in this bad boy. I next time I grade cards, I'll definitely get this one graded just for like the sentimental value of like walking out in the hallway and just seeing my son with a card in his mouth. So got the 2 Kronk promos. I love the idea of the first buy a box promo. I think this will have collectability. I don't think it's the like coolest looking card. I thought it was going to look a lot cooler with the like unique like lore kind of like graphic over here on the right. But it doesn't speak to me. So I'll get at least 4 of them. I'll probably buy a lot of them. They're probably going to be pretty cheap. Actually, I already bought a couple. They're on their way right now. But it's not one that I'm like drooling over. This one, on the other hand, the Lilo from the gift box is absolutely insane. And this is like, Ravensburger has got to give me more of this. Like, this card is absolutely gorgeous. Like, this one is one that me and my daughter just kind of fawn over with how pretty the art is. Obviously, iconic characters. It's just such a cool pose. Like, the action of what's going on in the scene, it just pops. Like, give me more. I did buy. I don't have them yet. I'm going to start to try to do these weekly, and I'll probably do some openings, but I'll try and include it in next week's collection video before I open them. But I was able to get some of these boxes on Amazon for $29.99 pre-order, and I bought as many as I could. So I'm really excited about those. I think that's a fantastic product. On the sealed side, I think it's going to do very, very well long term, but I love this card. I need some more of them. I am going to trade one of my friends for his, so I'll have at least 2. I'll open a couple of those boxes. That'll get me up to 4, but this is one that I want to have a lot of. I think this is an iconic card. I mean, that looks gorgeous. I don't know how the Costco Mickey Mouse looks yet. I don't have that card, but I would be hard pressed to, like, you guys let me know that have that card from the Costco box if it's as good as this one, because if it is, I mean, they are blessing us with some awesome promos. Absolutely love this one. Next up, we have 4 Robin Hood. Shout out to Brandon. B Hart, he hooked me up with these. He opened a bunch of Inklings, and I made a deal with him for these. I play a lot of steel decks, and Robin Hood is still like a main character in the steel meta. This is also one I've opened a ton of Inklings. I've never pulled this card. I've pulled multiple. Let the Storm Rage On. I've pulled Ursula's. I feel like I say that weird. I pulled Ursula's. I pulled Jafar's. Pulled all the big chases and Inklings. Never pulled a Robin Hood. So he had a play set. He gave me a good deal on them, and we made a sale there. So thank you to Brandon for selling me those. And then you guys have seen these, but obviously we have the Tiamatsoa that we opened from Arcasius Island. Opened it at the LGS, got told to wash my mouth when I opened it because I couldn't believe it. I was like, holy shit. Like, I could not, because I started to pull it up, and then I the card in front of it, I started to like reveal it, and then I put it back down, but I glanced over at the name as I was pulling it back down, and I saw Beatrice Blue, so I knew it was Tamatoa. So I was kind of like freaking out. Like I like scream like we were in a public setting, but they got on me, which honestly I thought it was a little bit overkill, but I was very excited. I mean, this card is absolutely gorgeous. I'm gonna try and get it doodled on by Beatrice. I've talked to her a little bit on Instagram. I'm gonna try and mail it over to her and get it signed, get it doodled on, get something. Because like, I mean, this is peak art in my opinion. Like, this is definitely one of my favorite enchanteds that has ever been drawn on. Now, I love a lot of the art, right? Like, I'm a sucker for the art in general, but this one just stood out as like completely different than anything else we had seen. It was obviously one of Beatrice Blue's first card. This is the first set that she's been featured in, and so this one just like popped like no other. So absolutely love this card, and it's going insane. So I think it's up to like $500 again, which is absolutely nuts for a card that just came out. We have the Donald Duck here, which is always going to hold a special place in my heart because this is one that my daughter, I pulled this one at the LGS, right? So whenever she got home from school, we showed her whatever. But then Saturday night after after Hobby Store release, we pulled this one. And I mean, she was ecstatic, jumping up and down, "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy," just screaming. And so it was awesome. And then she was just like, I got it from her, right? She had it in her hand and she was running around like, all right, let me see it for a second. So we sleeved it up, got it in a top loader, and then she was just staring at it like, "Daddy, can I put it in my binder? I want to take it everywhere with me." Just like, just completely drooled over it. So always holds a special place in my heart when I can share those memories with her, especially pulling cool ones. Notably, she's young enough to where like she thinks the uncommons are cool. But the fact that we're when we see these shiny ones, like, and especially with Lorcana, like, the one thing about you can't say about enchanteds, like, the hits are hits. Like, you're gonna see them as soon as you open that pack. You can damn near see that there's an enchanted in there. So this one just awesome. I love the art. It's got the Dark Magician vibe for my Yu-Gi-Oh fans out there. Absolutely love the card. Just very cool. Restoring Atlantis, another one that I love the art on. I know the action cards aren't the most valuable. I think this is the least valuable card in the set, but I love it. I think this is going for like 40 or 50 bucks. Like, keep dreaming. I would never sell it for that. But that once again goes back to, I just have such a core connection with these cards, and what it's meant to us thus far, that I just value these more than the market does, right? And unfortunately, or fortunately for me, right, only time will tell. I'm going to continue to acquire these cards at an insane pace because I just think every card in Lorcana, for the most part, is undervalued. I'll talk about here as we get through some of these cards. I'll talk about some cards that I'm avoiding right now. Someone asked me to make a video about that, and I don't really want to talk too much about like cards that I'm not buying, because like people have those cards, and I just don't want to impact the market. That's not why I made this channel. I'll talk about some of the cards here though that I'm not really buying. We'll go through some, and these are going to be the smaller ones, right? Just promos and stuff that we've been picking up. So we've been picking up some more from the first organized play season promos. These Hey, the errata errors. It's just a promo, right? It's one of the oldest promos in terms of the first organized play kit. Secondly, it has an errata error in terms of how the verbiage says here. It's supposed to be to another chosen character or other chosen character. I can't remember, but it just says to chosen character. So this is actually fixed later on when they did the reprint. So these are technically error cards. They're also just old promos, very, very cheap, like $1 or $2. Got some Yzmas from the same organized play kit. Once again, very, very cheap, $1 or $2. Nothing special about Lee's, not an error, just old promos. I want to make sure I have a good quantity of Lee's as we get, a couple years down the road, 5 years down the road. I want to make sure that I was very aggressive with these promos when they were affordable. Got some Mickey Mouse Leader of the Band that came in, once again, just in an effort of growing the promo collection. We have some Nala here, which I'm thinking about actually doing an Emerald Amber deck, and this one is kind of a tank for a 1-drop, so I think we're going to include this one, which is nice. So got a bunch of those. And then I've showed these off in another video, but we've been picking up these like crazy. I think we're up to 150-ish of the Stitch Alien Buccaneer. Look, A, you can get them sealed. B, I think a ton of stores just broke down the portfolio boxes, the Stitch boxes, and they were trying to just sell the boxes or sell the packs. and they had these readily available. Like, I mean, I'm buying these for average. I would say my total cost basis is probably like $1.50 to $1.75. I did do one order at $2, but for the most part, getting them very, very cheap. And this card means a lot to me because this is so my daughter's, we got her like a custom binder made, but it was like my wife did it as a kind gesture, but it was like a 3-ring binder that just like, it would honestly, it probably would have been fine, but the rings, it's like just a crappy binder. The rings didn't shut very well. So I got her the Stitch set, and we opened that, and we went through and put all the cards in it that she likes, the puzzles, everything like that. But this was, obviously, we opened that box, and it was her binder, so we sleeved this up and put it in there for her. So it was like, obviously it's not enchanted, I would say, but it does have the enchanted foil. And so we put that in there for her. Just her first kind of like enchanted that was personally in her binder. So these mean a lot to me. So we're going to do like a full page of these to kind of start her binder. And then she loves the puzzles, right? I think that's something that Ravensburger does very well. So we have multiple puzzles in there already, but I'm going to go through that with her and really, just kind of, it looks like a 6-year-old put it together right now, rightfully so. It's kind of sporadic, but we're going to go through it and clean that up a little bit. Okay, so then we have here, let's get these organized a little bit. Picked up some Moanas. These are from the Chinese movie release. Shout out to Vader Llama, who put me on these. I bought them on eBay. They were shipped from China. They have a very unique Brave Little Tailor card in the back. And I think there might be some collectability to this card. We don't, obviously, once again, anytime I can get anything Brave Little Tailor on it, excuse me, I always try to do so. And I think these just might have some very unique collectability, especially since we've never gotten anything like it in the States. So I think they're still readily available on eBay. I don't know, like tariffs and things like that, how that's going to take effect. But these, I think I paid like $7 or $8 a piece, if I'm not mistaken. So they were a pretty good pickup. Once again, thank you to Vader for putting me onto those. And then I picked up some Buckies and a Flotsam and Jetsam. The funny thing about the Buckies is these were obviously, I think they were in the second organized play kit, and they were very, very cheap when at the beginning. And the Bucky deck wasn't really a thing yet, and this was just a cheap promo that people were getting at League Night. So this was another one that they were selling for like sub $1. I immediately started to pick them up. I bought a ton of them, and I listed some of them at $20. And if you guys were around whenever the ban came through for this card, people immediately started wanting it because it became a banned card. And so I'm going to pause here. My wife just printed something. Now that I can edit, we're going to come back whenever this thing's done. So BRB. All right, we're back. The printing is done. But the funny story about these cards, basically, long story short, TLDR, I picked up a bunch of them, right, as I do with all promos, and I listed like 10 of them at, I think, like 15 or $20. It's been months. Just as like hey, if they run up out of nowhere, like just to have some on the market. I think I had 10 of them total. And whenever the ban came through, Bucky went crazy. And I sold all of the ones that I had listed. Now I still had a bunch. I would have completely listed them all because I mean they went like insane. Like it was like 15 or $20. You'd have to go back and look. But I made it just I made like hundreds of dollars just on a card that I was buying for 50 cents a piece. And then I think it's came back down now. So I was like, it's just funny. Like I've got to, go full circle here and pick some more back up now that they're cheap again. Cause I do think that, obviously once again, anytime I'm buying these older promos, I want to make sure I have plenty of them. So that's it for the singles for Lorcana. In terms of cards that I'm not buying right now, I have not got myself to pull the trigger on the higher value trophy cards yet. The ones that I am referring to are obviously the ones from the NA and EU championships. We just don't know enough about those in terms of the Baymax, the Ice Palace, the Invited to the Ball, and the Cusco. The verdict's still out on those in terms of how long they're going to run them. We really have to see what Ravensburger is going to do on those guys because they have not proven that they, as of right now, everything that they've done would say that they are not into true rarity, right? I'll go full screen here so I can kind of talk about this without just sitting here. But any card that they printed, like the Golden Mickey, for example, is a perfect idea. If you were around whenever those were first announced, I was very, very excited about the prospect of these being like whenever the first Atlanta, I think Atlanta was the first DLC. Whenever that was announced, I was like, dude, this is gonna be insane for the people that win these. Like, I think at the time it was like the top 4 was gonna get a golden Mickey, and that was before they expanded the tournament. And then we found out there was gonna be more, and it was like there was very limited information at that time. I was ecstatic at the proposition of having like a 1 of 4. Then they released it and it says 1 of 500, right? Or out of 500 on the bottom of them. And I was just like gutted of like, dude, that's so many. Like, sure, 500 is not a lot in the grand scheme of things, but for like what it was initially being touted as like a trophy of this first event, like that was going to hold an insane premium. But it was out of 500. Now they're going to continue to be given out for, I mean, like, look, I think we're at like somewhere between 150 awarded so far and maybe like 200. Like, we've still got probably years that these are going to be hitting the market, right? And so that lengthens the time frame that I can pick these cards up for years. And that's assuming things keep going well. These cards have held their value. These trophies have held their value for an incredibly well so far. And so I want them to be tested, right? Like, I'm not pulling the trigger on the Rapunzel Gifted with Healing yet. I'm not pulling the trigger on the Cinderella Stout Hearted foil. I'm speaking specifically to the foils here because I have to see what Ravensburger is going to do for the next DLC season for Worlds. Like, I have to see how are they willing to make these truly rare cards that are no longer going to be printed again. I think that these cards are probably done being printed in terms of the Cinderella and the Rapunzel, but right now they've been bought, I would say, pretty aggressively, and they've also held their value very well. I want these people that have bought them, I want them to hold on to them a little bit. I want to see what they're made of and see if they're going to keep commanding that premium. Same with the Let It Go, because my thought process with the Let It Go specifically, that was the one that I wanted the most. That's my favorite art out of all of them. Now, obviously, as a collector, the Rapunzel and the Cinderella are rarer, so inherently I want those. But the Let It Go is my favorite art. It was sitting around 700 for a while, and I was like, if this thing gets sub 500, I'm pulling the trigger. It got down to like 600 for like a sale or two, and then it went right back up. And so, in my opinion, I feel like there's going to be better times ahead to buy these cards, and I just want the market to shake out more. Now, that does not mean I'm right, guys. Like, these cards could, like, as Lorcana grows and as the market grows, the people that I'm competing against to buy these cards grows exponentially. And so it might turn into a situation where I have to pay 2 to 3 times the amount that they are right now. I will own them at some point. They're not that rare. There's enough copies out there. Well, no matter what, I will own them. So I'm just not in a hurry to go out and get them right now, because I just want the people who have gone out to buy them. I just want to see what they're made of. I want to see what the market has to say about these cards. And then the last thing, I don't want to talk about this too much because I don't really, like, it's not even drama, but just like talking about other people's collections and things like that. There's someone out there that has a lot of these cards, and they kind of control the market. They have people that play for them that whenever they win these cards, they get first right of refusal. Should the player want to sell them, they get to buy them from them. They no matter what, get the opportunity to buy them at their set price, at the market price. But this person owns the majority of the market of them, and so they kind of define the price. And like I don't like that, and I know that information, and so I'm just kind of staying away for now. I want to see what they're made of. I want to see what shakes out. I want to see what happens with these cards. Give them time to marinate. And once again, whether it's the Golden Mickey, the Rapunzel, the Cinderella, the Let It Go, there's enough copies out there where I'm going to be able to get them at some point, right? And so I'm in no rush, and I feel like, better times are ahead for those trophy cards. So someone asked me to talk about that. Hopefully you see this video and see me talking through it. I don't want to make a whole video about it. Once again, people own these cards, and I don't want to influence the market one way or the other to try and like go out and buy these cards. I don't like the idea that people are like buying stuff because I like it, right? I'm just talking about stuff that I like, and I with that being said, I mean, obviously I'm making recommendations, and so these people that are buying this stuff that I talk about, I would buy it at that price too. A lot of times I am actively buying it at that price. But at the end of the day, it's just my opinion. I can't see the future, right? And so these cards, if they were to go down in the short term, off the back of like what I have to say, I wouldn't want that to happen. So with that being said, those are some cards I'm not buying right now. back to the video. All sorts of wonderful singles here for this particular video. Let's switch back over to the screen there. But yeah, some Bucky promos, some event exclusive promos with the, or I guess technically Ursula's Return, Flotsam and Jetsam. This was originally, and this was another thing, I'm not going to complain too much, but this was supposed to be the pre-registration qualifier for our promo for the DLC events. Whenever you pre-registered ahead of time, you're supposed to qualify to get this promo, and then turned into the Ursula's Return promo. And so I don't like when they have like an event exclusive promo or a promo for a specific reason, and then it becomes this bigger, broader reason. Like, if it's for that reason, it needs to be for that reason. You can't then just spread it out to all these other events. Like, that's not how promos work. So I hope they tighten that up. But yeah, that's what I've bought in terms of singles. Love the Lilo card. Absolutely love it. Love a low-grade Floodborn. Give me all those. Come on. Happy as a clam, baby. Some Robin Hoods, Cusco's. All right, with that being said, guys, we'll go over to Sealed, which I haven't picked up much of it lately, but I've got some stuff I want to show you. And then we'll talk about the other non-Lorcana stuff. All right, guys, not much going on the Sealed front, but we did pick up a couple things, so I wanted to point those out. We've been bidding on some first chapter sleeve boosters auctions. I've talked about it a couple times this week, but I think that these are going to drastically outpace, when you look at like a price per pack appreciation, I think these are drastically going to outpace a booster box or a sealed case of the first chapter. I think people are going to be much more likely to take a stab at something like this at $20, $30, $40, $50 a pack, more so than, you know, an entire case of Lorcana at that price or an entire box of Lorcana at that price. I think that since the pull rates are so bad on Enchanteds, that is really going to hurt the deflationary aspect of sealed product as it relates to booster boxes and booster box cases. So I'm definitely placing my bet on sleeved boosters. I'm close to, I think I mentioned this already, but I'm close to 100 total in sealed right now of sleeved first chapter. With that being said, I am opening some of these, doing shorts with them because it's really good content. People want to see the first chapter open. And I love what Pat Flynn does, or Deep Pocket Monster, with his should I open it or should I keep it sealed series. So I'm trying to kind of get in that, you know, wheel. I'm trying to like expand my horizons to like make a really good video like him. I'll never be that good, but I do enjoy opening them, obviously. And if I can make content out of it and you know, it doesn't pay for itself. Like, I think on my shorts, I'm averaging about like 10 cents per short. But at the end of the day, it's really fun to do. It gives me an excuse to open them. And I am very fortunate that, and I've told the story before, when I first came into Lorcana, my local, it's not even LGS, it's a sports card store and sports memorabilia store. They have Lorcana there, and obviously most of the people that shop there are like Royals fans, Chiefs fans, looking for sports stuff. They had no clue what Lorcana was, and I was buying these at $3 a pack. So I'm at a decent spot in terms of EVV at $3. So with that being said, definitely opening some of them, but this is all the sealed I picked up here as of late. Most of the sealed I've opened that I've picked up lately, because that's pretty much Arcasia's Island. I've mentioned several times, I am not in the position where I want more sealed first chapter. I've got plenty of it in terms of like cases and boxes, and I personally don't really enjoy the sealed collecting aspect at all. I would much rather have a cool card to like share with my daughter and stuff like that. The sealed stuff does not, you know, it's definitely more of like an investment, right? But I just get no joy out of the sealed stuff. So I've got what I've got. Probably won't be adding too much to it in terms of like first chapter and stuff like that. I'll be adding some sleeve boosters here and there, but other than that, I won't be buying really much sealed first chapter specifically. Definitely be looking in some of the other sets as time comes, Rise of the Floodborn specifically. But as of right now, that is the sealed pickups for this week. All right, guys, if you're here for Lorcana content, that time has come and gone. We're on to greener pastures here, literally, and we'll get into that now. So, some non-Lorcana related stuff. I was over at my parents the other day. I'll give you kind of a backstory, and then we'll get into it. I'll try not to be too long-winded. Sometimes when I get into this, like, nostalgia train or start talking about, like, how gorgeous Lorcana cards are, I can go on for forever. So I'll try and be somewhat concise here. So I go over to my parents' house. My mom wanted me to hook up our regular Nintendo for her downstairs because she's trying to do some physical therapy with their stairs. and she wants to essentially be able to go down, rest, play like Mario or Dr. Mario for a little bit, which is essentially like Tetris for those of you who are not old, and then kind of come back up the stairs. So you want to get like somewhere to like take a pit stop. So I go over there to hook up, and this is also worth noting. Like, of course, we have all our old game systems, all of our old video games. I have my old Game Boy over there, N64, GoldenEye, Battle Tanks, Perfect Dark, all the old Nintendo games, whatever. But Pokemon cards, those were trashed because those are dumb. So just a insight into a Midwestern blue collar family. So I go over there, hook up the game. And while I'm hooking up the Nintendo, I see a game that me and my brother and my cousins and friends used to just grind out, which was the second Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. The Manhattan Project is the name of it. And that game was, we had a lot of fun on that game. Like I said, it was very hard. It was a game that you could have multiple people play at once. It's like you could kind of do like a co-op. Now you're on the same screen, so it's very limited in terms of, like you can't progress without both people being at the front of the screen. Like it's very antiquated for today's, style of gaming. But at the time it was iconic. It was a ton of fun. And so we played, like I said, we grinded that game out. And so as I'm hooking up this Nintendo, I see the game and I'm like, oh, dude, I wonder if it still works. Put it in, turn it on, immediately fires up. The game is immediately running, right? There's no loading back in those days. It's just the cartridge, and it starts working, starts playing the music, and I'm immediately like back in the zone. Like I start playing immediately, and it's just like the same exact feeling that I got with my daughter opening those Lorcana cards, and she's so excited, right? Think back to when I was a kid with the Pokemon and just this nostalgia. Same exact thing happened there. I start playing this game and I could just like, I shrunk like 30 years. Like at that moment I was a kid again. And so that immediately just triggered like, man, like I used to love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I have an older brother. He used to love it. And so I just called him. We started reminiscing, talking about it. And so then I kind of went down a rabbit hole here, and we'll switch back over to the screen share, where I started looking into what cards have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles been, what do they have, right? What do they have in existence? So it turns out they have a lot of, like, we'll call them CCGs, collectible card games, which I would consider what these are, and that really just trading cards would really be the proper name. And then they actually have some trading card games as well. And so I went back and looked, and I like to collect the older stuff, right, obviously. And so I found this 1989 Topps set of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cards. And these are printed directly from scenes that happened in the original cartoon. So that's something we've also been rewatching here lately. I've been forcing my oldest and my son to watch the old cartoons with me. It's funny. My daughter will be like, "Daddy, can we watch the ones that aren't blurry?" And she's talking about like, can we watch something new, not the ones that are, from 1986. And I'm like, no, like you watch the good stuff. So we've been watching the cartoons. We've been building these sets, and they're a ton of fun. This is not value related. It's not investment whatsoever. It's just incredibly cheap, and it brings me a lot of joy. And so sometimes it's nice to not have to spend, $400 on a card when you could just open up some awesome pieces of art, in my opinion. So some quick lore on these. So this is the first set that was ever printed with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles related. It came out it was printed in 1989 and 1990. It's called the Mirage or Topps Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series. So I've been completing sets. I have some sealed stuff I'll show you guys, and we'll just kind of talk through it a little bit. I do think that there are some interesting propositions here in terms of value. Like these, I'll move my binder over here. These cards, these like are the first time like Leonardo, Michelangelo, Raphael, and Donatello were ever on a card. So these are kind of like their first appearance as it relates to cards. The reason why I have duplicates is because the first row is going to be the standard, just like kind of think like base set. Then the cards on the right would be kind of the collector's edition. So it's hard to tell because I have them all double sleeved, once again, because I'm a freak. And then I have them in the pages, so like you can't really see them shining. But they kind of have a glossy layer over top of them. So there was essentially a regular base set, and then there was a collector's edition. And so we have a complete set of both in the binders. I will say, in terms of if these were ever to blow up, which it's my understanding from the research I've done, these were printed into oblivion. It was during the 90s, right, as that huge boom was starting, and pretty much any IP worth a dime was putting stuff on cardboard and sending it to the facility. And so it's my understanding that these were printed to oblivion. There's no real value. I'll give you the prices on some of the boxes that I bought earlier. But just to give you an example, I bought an entire collector's I bought a set of collector's boxes. I bought a sealed case, which was 5 boxes that have the collector sets in them, and I think I paid like $35 or $40 a box. In total, the case was like $200, $250, and I still have a bunch of them sealed, 4 of them precisely. But these are really cool, and the PSA pop counts on these are very, very low. There's like 4 to 5. Some of them only have like 1 or 2 PSA 10s in existence. And so when I start grading again, I've canceled my grading membership, which I need to do a video on. But whenever I start grading again, once the prices come down, I definitely want to get some of these graded, because I think it would be cool to have like the very first Raphael card like in a PSA 10. I mean, some of these cards, I'll get one out here really quick. Some of these cards are in very, very good condition. And so it, I don't know if it would get a 10 right, but these were, I mean, like, look how white that is. Like that, I mean, that looks very, very clean for a card that came out in 1989. Like, that's pretty insane, right? Like, these cards are pretty clean. It's got the lore, obviously, on the back. Says what card number it is in the set. It's got obviously some lore, like I said, description. It's got an 88 card set. And then it's got, just some cool art directly from the first cartoon. So I've been really, really enjoying these. So I've got, obviously, the completed set. And then I also have, these stickers are awesome. Let me get one of these out here really quick. I found these stickers on eBay, and I bought them because I think they're awesome. These came out at the same time, but it's kind of got like a 3D vibe to it, moving in the background, little Leonardo there. So I bought a bunch of sets of Lees because I just get giddy when I look at them. I think they look so cool. Thinking back, I think these are from 1990, if I'm not mistaken. 1991 Mirage. Yeah, so the same company that made the card game, or the cards, not card game, the trading cards, made these, which are really, really cool. They look awesome. Gonna get some of those graded as well whenever I grade, just to have them encased. And then in that collector's box, they also have essentially some alt arts, kind of some full arts here that are from specific scenes. They commissioned artists to come in and put these together. This one down here that you can't really see because my face is in the way is probably my favorite. Raphael there with a turtle, got his, and actually the bandana is definitely red, but it looks like Donatello's staff. So I said Raphael, but it might be just like some purple there that looks red. Definitely Donatello now looking at it, but kind of like talking to a turtle there, which is really cool. And they just got like iconic arts all throughout it. And then this other page here has some really cool stuff on it. So once again, some more alt arts that they had made. Just some, I mean, like, that stuff hits me in the feels. Like, this is so cool. So some have like obviously Shredder. They have Bebop and Rocksteady. Just all the old, Foot Clan classic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle villains and whatnot. So just some awesome cards. And then they also have some stickers, and all of these cards can be graded, and all of them have low pop counts. So like, these stickers look awesome, right? So many cool stickers there. And then on the back, they actually form a puzzle, very similar to like kind of the Lorcana puzzles now. Granted that those look a lot cooler than Lee's did, but just some really, really cool, really cool cards. Take me back 35 years. And once again, I mean, I was born in the 90s, so I wasn't even around when these were initially printed, but I can still appreciate them for what they were. So I think, there's no financial motivation here, just really cool cards that, once again, I can collect for a lot cheaper than something like Lorcana. I will say that should there ever be any value there, the pop counts are very low, and I have a lot of mint copies of the cards, so there might be something there. But I mean, that's just a pure passion project, no real financial incentive whatsoever. Here is a sealed, I say sealed and do quotation marks because it has the original tape from the facility on it, barely hanging on by a thread. But the box is rotted out on the other side, so it definitely is openable. And it's got a full booster. This is called a hobby box of packs. So it's got 24 packs, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember if it says it on here or not, but it's a full box of cards, 24 count. This came out in 1990. Yep, 1990 Mirage. You can see it there. And so just a cool, I really like the way it displays. Now, obviously, this box is incredibly beat up, but like, it doesn't bother me at all. I mean, look, it came out in 1990, right? Can't be in mint condition. There are some pretty good looking boxes out there, but I just wanted to have one. I think it looks really cool. I love the colors on it, and I just, I want to get like a a plastic case to just kind of encase it. I think it looks awesome. We got some individual packs here. I've opened a bunch of packs. They've been fun. It's funny. Some of the packs have these are called hobby box packs that have 11 cards and a sticker inside of them. Now there are non-hobby boxes. So like basically these were boxes that went to LGSs. These were the only people that had these boxes. Now there was also additional boxes that would be at like gas stations or grocery stores or wherever that would come with five cards and then a stick of gum. There was no wrapper on the gum or anything. It was just on one of the cards. So I've seen YouTube videos of people like opening this and like eating the gum, like recently, like in the last couple of years. It's like, you guys are diabolical for that. But just some really cool pack art. Like, once again, for any of you guys that love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I definitely would recommend looking into it because I think they look really, really cool. They give you a lot of really good nostalgia vibes. And man, 59 cents. What a different time that was, huh? So apparently they're not worth anything because a lot of the people that were around back then were just like, they were printed so much, they'll never be worth a dime, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I think I got this box for like $60 or something. So, I mean, they're not worthless. But when you think about 35 years of appreciation, if you paid, $20-$30 for it back then, yeah, not doing too good. If you would have bought anything in Pokemon during that time, it would have like 100x. But still, I think it's a lot of fun to collect. Also have this, which is a tote pack. This apparently they would sell like a completed set. So I think it says somewhere like you can put your name on it maybe. Yeah, this complete trading card collection belongs to, you can put your name on it. It's kind of like a binder, Mondo to the max, cool art on the back. But this is stuff that like, as I build out my collection room and stuff like that, just stuff that I want to display, stuff that I think will look cool. I think I paid like $30 for this or something, just like free in terms of regular, modern collecting stuff. Like that's like a pack of prismatic evolutions. Like I was able to get something 35 years old. Like it's an absolute no-brainer. If I want something that's going to be printed to a massive quantity, give me something that's, at least ran this cycle on it. So I've been picking up a lot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff. Probably going to take a pause for it on what I'm buying now, just for a little bit here. I've got a lot of I want to do a little detour in the Lorcana stuff for a while. After I bought that Elsa, it was just such a massive setback in terms of purchasing power. That I just had to sit on the sideline for a little bit. So starting to buy a little bit here, more in there. Definitely, like last year, my attribution or acquisition rate was absolutely preposterous. Probably going to be picking up here quite a bit once again as well. So I'll start to do more videos like this. This went way longer than I intended, just simply due to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff. So hopefully, if you're here this deep, you're a degenerate like me. Or in like this old stuff. But that is it for today's collection update video. Please let me know your thoughts, guys. Once again, something that I really want to get back to, at least doing like one of these videos like every week to 2 weeks, because this is why I created this channel, to share like collecting experiences. I'm not kidding, guys. Whenever I started Lorcana, like there were a couple of YouTubers who like did box openings. There was a ton of people talking about the meta. But in terms of like collecting, it was just like some guys being like, is Lorcana collectible? And talking about like the proposition of it, which is fine. But like no one was like, hey, here's what I'm buying. Here's what I'm selling. Here are my goals. And like that's ultimately why I created this channel. So I definitely want to get back to that, because that is what my passion is seeing cool cards that you guys have, sharing cards that I have, and just talking about the collecting side of the hobby. I think that that's going to grow a lot in the future, right? Obviously, right now, we're kind of the redheaded stepchildren. Sorry to my genders out there, but, redheaded stepchildren of the Lorcana community in terms of just being, core collectors. I play the game, but I'm definitely a collector first. And so it's cool to pick that. It's cool to get back into that. And I wanted to share some stuff outside of the Lorcana world that I've been picking up. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I appreciate you, especially if you've made it thus far. Shameless plug, I have my TCG player in the link of any of my videos. If you don't mind clicking on that, it's my affiliate link. It won't cost you anything. And then when you buy something on TCG Player, I will get some sort of kickback there. So I'd appreciate it if you just save that as your home TCG Player link, because it supports the channel and I'm not doing any paywall stuff. I'm losing money when I make these videos, but I love it. It's who I am, right? And so it's just a part of me. So I don't say that I'm losing money to come off as like I need more money. I simply just say that because it is who I am, and I am technically losing money when I make these videos, but I absolutely love it. So thank you for all the comments, guys, and I appreciate for anyone who saves the TCGPlayer link and yeah, uses it. So we'll be back with another video soon, guys. Thanks for going down memory lane with me. Talk to you soon.